This is hot off the press. This is what's going on right now. Today is the 31st of January, the last day of January in 2023. We just got a bit of a news update. We just found out something that we didn't necessarily want to hear. I've got mixed feelings about this, and that's something that I want to express right now. So that's why I'm recording this right now. Even if I don't put this out publicly, it's just something for my own reference as I'm looking back at this time in history and what we've been working on. For the past 2 years, probably longer, I can't bother to work it out. Let's work this out. So pandemic was 2020. I played Echo before that. So minimum 3 years, I've been involved with this game called Echo VR. I was a player at first. I worked my way up through the levels, maxed out the level, and joined the competitive Echo VR scene. Once in that competitive scene, I continued down the rabbit hole. I climbed higher and higher in terms of myself as a player, and then I got involved with behind the scenes. I started meeting the people behind the scenes that were making things happen, building a community, but also people involved. I'm still recovering from a cough. Did I mention that? I was ill last week. I was barely playing, barely doing anything. I was just trying to relax, which was actually awesome, and something I want to speak about later. Was I had a lot of time to self-reflect. So this is kind of lined up, and I think this is why my initial reaction to this news isn't too crazy. I'm just kind of like, all right, cool, this was coming. Cool, let's see how this plays out. Because there's certain things that are in your control, and there's other things that are just not ever going to be in your control. This is one of them. Echo VR was made by a studio called Ready at Dawn, RAD for short, RAD. They made this game called Echo VR. Originally, they made a game called Lone Echo. It was one of the, I think it won like Game of the Year, Game Award of the Year, something like that. Game of the Year Award, that's it, in 2017. They were doing very well, and apparently during a hackathon or messing around, there was a developer called Rad David. I don't know his full name, David someone. He's a bit of a legend. If you speak to anyone within the community that's generally in the know-how, they will know the legend of Rad David. Rad David was someone who basically gave birth to Echo Arena as we know it today, as a spin-off from the main game Lone Echo. Echo Arena was at the time 3v3 sport. It was a sport, 3v3 space football with a disc. The game was born. The game seemed to do very well, quite quickly surpassing the original one-player game, which was Lone Echo. Echo Arena became the flagship title to come out of the Rad studio. At some point, I don't know the exact timeline, but Rad was purchased by Meta. They were purchased by the platform. Pros and cons. Cons of that is they lose creative control, quite obviously. I'm sure there's other things as well. Cons, what would cons be of selling out? Apart from losing creative control, to be honest, I can't actually think of any. It's just you're losing the leadership and direction of what you're going to be made. You start doing what you're told rather than whatever you want. You now have shareholders to answer to. You have seniors that are going to tell you what you're going to be doing and have a very strong say. If you have an opinion and they don't like it, it's not going to happen. That's the downside. What's the upside of being bought out by a company that can just throw money at you all they want? The upside is you get money thrown at you all they want. You have freedom, perhaps not creatively, but you have freedom to, in terms of resources, you'll have access to everything that Meta has to offer with all the other studios that they own. You can collaborate in those kind of ways and shared knowledge that can help grow the product that you produce. But the thing is, we're here in 2023. Echo Arena is still alive, got rebranded to Echo VR at some point. The game survived up until now. It carried on, but it never really, apart from being released on the next generation of headsets, after the CV1, the original Oculus Rift came out in come on Mitch, I know this. I want to say 2016 or 2017, maybe 16. That came out. This title, Echo Arena, was built for Echo VR. Since then, we had another headset come out called the Quest, and for that, we also launched Echo VR onto the Quest, and we saw a whole new influx of players. This is something I could talk about for ages, because with the original Rift, that was PC VR, and who is the demographic that plays PC VR games, PC VR gamers. They are people that have the budget, have the know-how, and have the care to invest in gaming computers built good enough to play in collaboration with PC VR hardware. This was the standard beyond 3 years ago. Since then, we've started having standalone headsets. The absolute monopoly has been the Meta Quest. At the time, Oculus Quest, now rebranded to Meta Quest. Quickly replaced by the Meta Quest 2, which was significantly better in every way. It was lighter, it was faster, it was better resolution, and it was cheaper. Absolute marvel of a time. This was a real peak of VR hardware technology growth. And with that growth and accessibility with a lower price point, it encouraged a whole new generation. I don't know if generation is the right term, because it's still kind of the same generation, but there's a whole new demographic that started playing. You had the casual VR gamer begin. Before then, it was only hardcore gamers because of the prerequisite of requiring a PC VR setup. It's expensive, and you just need to know how to deal with things when they go wrong. When your sensor externally doesn't connect to the headset you're using, your controller's struggling with tracking, you need a decent amount of common sense to be able to deal and learn quickly how to solve these kinds of issues. So it was consumer grade back then, but it was, you just needed to be, it was still a hobbyist tool. That's the best way to put it. It was still very much a hobbyist product. The Quest 2 came along, and that completely changed that. Standalone, turn it on, put it on your head, play some games. Simple as that. Tons of free-to-play games. One of them is Echo VR. So I'm just circling back to that. The Quest 2 came out, and we got a surplus of new... Can you hear that siren in the background? It's gone. I live on like a main road at the time of recording this. I'm going on a few tangents here. So the reason for starting to record this now, and I hope I am recording, while I'm recording, let me just check I've actually got space on this PC, because I record a lot of things, and when you record a lot of things, you run out of space on your PC. So let's have a little check. My PC. Bear with me. I have 29 gigabytes free. That's enough if I keep recording now. Is this 60 FPS? Probably not. This would be 30 by default, but we're good. We're okay. We're going to carry on now. So, I mean, I can talk about whatever I want right now. The news is that Echo VR will end in August 2023. Echo VR, as we know it, will end. So first impressions are, yeah, it makes sense. It was bound to come, right? I mean, anything, and this applies to literally anything. You're either growing or you're dying. And Echo VR has not been growing for a while. Since Quest 2, and everything that came with the launch of the Quest 2, Quest 1, Quest 2, and all the new influx of players that came around that. Since then, we haven't seen another shift up or any what kind of like forward direction. The game has stayed the same. This game that, and a big tell of this is that at a competitive level, the best headset is the one from over 5-6 years ago. A headset made like going on a decade ago, and maybe not a decade, but closer to a decade than 5 years. No, I don't know. I'm not good with maths. But a headset that was made a very long time ago, a whole generation back, is better than the ones coming out now. And the reason behind that is that this game was, as it is today, was built for a VR industry back then. 5 years is a very, very, very quick time, and it's been over 5 years that this game has been out and barely innovated. That's a problem. If you're not growing, you're dying, and Echo VR has been dying for a very long time. It's only the sobering truth of an announcement from the official studio telling you that your game is dead that it begins to hit hard. And that's what we're witnessing now. I mean, I'm in this community, I'm in this world, so I've got like Discord things open with pin everywhere. I've got DMs coming in, and everyone's like, oh yeah, Echo's dead. Because it is dead. And that's the nail in the coffin, quite literally cementing a funeral day for the death of Echo VR. So unanswered questions. This is what's on my mind. So first reaction, yeah, okay, cool. I was expecting it. Next is, okay, the game's dead. It's being taken off of the servers. Okay, cool. Yeah, it costs money to keep the servers up. The game's not making enough money, or the studio just wants to move on to bigger and better things. The servers go down. Okay, cool. Us, the community, I put myself in that circle, in that group of people. Off the top of my head, how many Echo players are there? I want to say like 50,000 active players, like a week. And then how many of those are competitive players playing many times a week at a high level and are heavily invested in this game? Let's say about 5,000, give or take, maybe more, maybe less. This community want to keep playing this game. Admittedly, it's a very small community, it's incredibly niche. However, there's just the next thought that comes along is, okay, cool, invested a lot of time in this game and got very good at it. Is it going to be kept alive in either some third party way, or would a game be released as like a LAN build, a local area network, meaning that can this game be released and then I can still play it, but I have to set the server up myself? Anyone who's hardcore into playing games like Minecraft, before that was bought out by Microsoft and the servers were made easy to connect, if you wanted to play with your friends and you weren't in the same physical, like on the same Wi-Fi, you would have to know how to set up a server and then get your friend to connect to that server. It's doable, but it was hacky. Like the kind of people that are playing Quest 2 right now, they'd have no idea how to set that up back in the day. I'm talking Minecraft like 10 years ago, maybe even longer than that now. Minecraft where it was proper hacky. Now it's all easier to do, and I think it's been surpassed by these other games like what's that massive one that everyone plays? Blocks, something Blocks. I want to say Roblox. That's not the name. Damn it! Oh, it's left my mind. But yeah, there's tons of these games that people play now. It's all made easier, but the servers going down is a big issue. It'd be nice if the game could be kept alive and like just given out for free. Here's this game that we've ripped the servers away for. Feel free to download it and play it as you wish. Feel free to third party host the servers. Feel free to take the copyright now. Like, you know, get rid of the copyright and let someone else host this by their own means and make a third party version of the game. That would be nice. Other first thoughts about this. Okay, so we found out about this by a official post from Rad. Oh man, wait, I'm gonna mute. I need to blow my nose. One sec. I'll be honest, I'm a little bit bunged up. I've lost my train of thought. So we were saying, like takeaways, like first impressions. I mentioned about how we've seen it coming. Because if you're not growing, you're dying. I said about it'd be nice if we get the game released and we can host it on our like third-party servers or whatever, or someone else just gets to remake the game and not get sued for doing so. Third point is, okay, cool. This studio with a significant amount of developers with backing from the platform itself, from Meta, that's a lot of developers, that's a lot of resource, that's a whole functioning studio. What are they doing next? What's next to come? Being pessimistic, I reckon whatever they're working on now is gonna be, it's just gonna be like, I'm being pessimistic. I think they're gonna release either a single player title and like it comes out, it sells for a little bit and then falls in its face, like all the single titles we're seeing coming out now, or they release another esport game built from the ground up for esports. That'd be the optimistic assumption and hope and desire that they're working on right now. I don't think that's the case. I'd love it to be the case, but I'll be honest, I don't think it's the case. If it is the case, they're doing it. They are doing it behind closed doors and not involving the community at all. If that's the case, they are fucking up. they're making a terrible decision doing that. They're making a terrible decision if they release a single player title, because okay, cool, Lone Echo got all these awards back in 2017, amazing, great game, but who plays it now? Like, it's just dated terribly. And with a game like that, yeah, you play it, maybe play it again if you're really interested, but like, that's it, it's done. It's in the history. It's in history, it's done. With competitive games, you keep updating it, you keep working on it, you upload battle passes, game passes, whatever. You keep the ecosystem running. More money comes in, more development goes into the game. And we have something that's alive and growing, which is key. You release a single player title and it just slowly dies, slowly decays. That's less the case if Rad were to hit the market with a very good esport, VR esport. Oh, this is something that I've been trying to coin as well. So there's VR esport. Some people abbreviate that down to VR sport. The argument being that this isn't an esport. Esport connotates sat down with a keyboard and mouse down here, and like barely moving, whilst a VR sport is I'm stood up, moving around, swinging my arms around, getting a little bit of exercise, getting a bit of a sweat on. That's a little bit different from sat down with a keyboard and mouse. So where am I going with this? Oh yeah, what I'm trying to coin. So VR sport. What I'm trying to coin is just Vsport. I think it's way snappier. Just virtual sport. Don't need the reality in that. I mean, just don't even address the reality. Just address the fact that it's a virtual sport. It's a sport you're playing virtually. That's what I'm trying to coin. I need to cough, but it's not coming yet. Wait. I'm gonna mute. It's gonna sound. Did you feel that? Feel the fucking cough coming there. What am I talking about? Vsport. Yes. The pessimistic is that Rad come out with a single player, story-driven title. Yay. Amazing. I hope they don't do that. What else they might do is come out with an esport title. Gaming title. A Vsport title. If they do this, I hope they do it from the ground up and they involve the community heavily. By the community, I mean the competitive community that was around Echo VR and is now quickly going to swarm to other titles. The annoying thing is, those other titles, there's not many of them, and the ones that are there, they are kind of limited. I've been keeping my eye on games from Resolution Games, so Ultimax and Blastom. These are some recent games, and yes, there's two ways I want to go with this. Those are games that are emerging now, and they're likely ways that the players are now going to move towards. They're going to move to these emerging games like these. They are fun, they are good. My quick criticism on Ultimax, Blaston is a little bit better, but Ultimax, I played it for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, and by that time, like an hour in, I was barely moving. I was stood still, and all I was doing was just pointing my wrists. I was pointing, because everything's like button presses, so I can move around the map really quickly just by pressing a button or flicking something. Oh, I hope you didn't hear that burp. Oh, that was rough. Yeah. Flicking around, I'm barely moving. I'm stood and I'm just like pointing like that. Okay, cool. To be fair, great game. Really good game. I just felt like I wasn't getting my workout. And I think that's something that Echo really brings, because to take a good shot, it's so key to align your arm and have a good throwing arm and warm up, cool down, all of that stuff. It's a very physical sport. While Ultimax, although incredibly fun and a great game, and I fully recommend it, it didn't feel like a sport. It felt like I was playing Rocket League but stood up with controllers, two loose controllers rather than just one. However, saying that, Resolution Games are doing it properly. They're building these games with quick back and forth input feedback from the community. They're building a game that the players want to play. I think they're doing a phenomenal job of doing this, and they're going to see some success for a long time, in my opinion. That's my hot take. That's my impression with Resolution Games. I think they're here to stay, and I think they're going to do a very good job. I think they're going to have a nice hefty offer from the likes of Valve or Meta or Apple eventually, or I don't know if Google are still doing VR stuff, probably not. But someone with a platform is going to come along and offer them a hefty amount of money. Maybe someone like Intel or something. They're doing it right. They're doing it right, and I really, really, really fucking hope Rad wake up and do something properly. And when I say Rad, I mean whoever's like, you know, puppet strings, whoever's controlling the situation and the leadership. I hope whoever's been there gets fired. They get rid of them, well, not fired, but like put into a different department when they're more useful. Because right now, it's just an absolute state. It's an absolute waste of an opportunity. It's a waste of an opportunity. I think now is the time. Now, as we're hitting, so think like the original Rift, when that came out, we had hype, we had excitement about VR. VR is going to be amazing. All these games come out, all right, it does well. We're significantly higher than where we were, but we slope. We go into a dip. Okay, yeah, VR isn't quite what we thought, what we hyped it up to be. And then we go Quest 2, standalone. Jesus, this is a good game. Quest 1, amazing. Quest 2, amazing. We come up here, and then, okay, time's going down, it goes down. Economics, the market gets big. All these tech companies hire, like Tesla's doing amazing, Meta's doing amazing, Apple's doing amazing, everyone's doing fantastic. Oh, yes, hire, let's get bigger, throw more resources at it. And then what happens? Towards the end of 2022, squash, everyone's tightening their belt. Meta fire 13,000 people. Microsoft fire 10,000, I think. Google fire 10,000. Twitter fired about 10,000 as well. These are big numbers of like reduction. And what's left? Like what is mostly untouched for the most part? Well, apart from HoloLens. HoloLens got wiped out. That's something I could talk about for ages as well. But yeah, VR survived, and VR is the gamble that Mark Zuckerberg and his team are focusing on, as we can see from the outside. This is the gamble that's being made. Personally, my personal opinion, it's the right gamble to make, and I think that Meta is going to get pushback. It's getting pushed back now. I think that pushback is just going to increase and increase and increase over the next 5 years. Of what are you doing? What are you doing? This isn't making any money. It's not going to make any money. You've done this too early. Stop. Meta's going to hit so much resistance to this gamble, to this bet into the metaverse and the next internet. Some people call it internet. To be honest, I just think it's really badly defined or just undefined. Whatever this next like metaverse is, I think it's a really interesting topic, and it's something that I'm learning about a lot recently as well. Where, like, because metaverse isn't just VR; it's so much more. It's a combination of all different things. VR is just like one modem of it. It's like at the moment you have a phone, but you also have a laptop. You might have a headset as well. You might have a smartwatch. What else is there? I'm sure there's other wearables I've forgotten. Your headphones, other stuff. It's an ecosystem. Internet of Things, kind of like that, but there's stuff that isn't physical as well. There's AI coming around. There's chat GPT. Things are changing right in front of our eyes, and I think this dip right now, it's when times are hard that like innovation and like merit succeeds, and I think that's what we're going to be seeing the fruits of throughout 2023. I think it's a beautiful time. I think it's a great time. I think the death of Echo I think it makes sense. I think it's completely rational, and it just fits where things are going. If it's not growing, it's dying, and Echo VR is dying. We have a date. We have a date where it's gone. It's an interesting time, and we're seeing community-backed projects prevail. The best-selling game wasn't even on the Echo store for a very, very, very long time until recently. Gorilla Tag was made by an Echo VR player who went off, built their own game. I'd love to actually speak to them to find out the exact timeline, but it appears from the outside this person was involved in Echo VR at a competitive level, left when the money, when ESL walked away and like that money wasn't there anymore, he was like, okay, there's not really a future here. Let me go and build some game. Bedroom projects, bedroom developer, made a game, and it's outsold. I love to actually know the numbers on this as well, by how much, but outsold all other games. The most played game, most like active users and all of that. I think like 26 million income over the last year or something like that. I don't know where I've got those numbers from, but I've got those numbers from somewhere, and I'm actually going to fact check this later. Gorilla Tag, VR chat. I can't think of a third one off the top of my head. Oh man, I'm so like bunged up. I really thought I was past this like thing. I've had it for like a week. I feel way better than when I felt, but it's like congested up there. I'm gonna have... Oh yes, I've got this. I made some tea. That does not help at all. Oh no, it has. No, not really. Yeah. Gorilla Tag. VR chat. Why have they done so well? Why have they thrived? Why do they have such a high user... Oh, Rec Room as well. Why do they have such a high user base? And response and engagement. And has continued to survive. I'm going to blow my nose because I'm so good. Do you want to know something funny? I was meant to be playing a scrim tonight. I was meant to be playing an hour of Echo VR, and when I play, I normally come on like half an hour earlier just to practice and warm up. That didn't happen. That didn't even happen. Let me check. I think everyone pulled out as well. They were like, no, we're way too depressed. We're not playing this game. And I was like, oh. Okay. Maybe I just react late to things. But like emotionally, I'm just like, yeah, I kind of saw this coming. Yeah, it's going to be sad. But everyone else is like, oh, I don't know how I feel. I don't know if I can come on. I don't know if I can play this game. I kind of feel a certain way. All right. Yeah, community driven. Rad, you're an apps like Mr. Rad. Like if I'm gonna, personify a whole subdivision of a whole studio. Yeah, sort it out. That's all I'm gonna say. Literally, just look at Resolution Games, look exactly what they're doing, and just copy that, and you'll stay alive. If you are building another eSport, Vsport title, I hope you do it right. If not, it's just more money down the drain. More money down the drain equals getting cut, fired. This is the time of belt tightening. If you're not growing, you're dying. And you better start... you better start tidying up your CV because you're going to be needing it. Alright, we're going to put this to bed. Got nothing else to add. Echo VR's dying. Is what it is. Peace.